Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So today I'm going to be doing a review and demonstration on the DeVilbiss DV1 Gambler Edition. So the gun itself is just a normal DV1 digital 1.3mm, and I've got the C2 air cap on it this time. But as you can see there, it is an absolute beauty. Probably one of the best looking limited editions I've ever seen. One of, if not the best. But yeah, there's some fierce competition out there. There's some very good looking spray guns on the market. But have a look at that. Like, yeah, I knew what was coming when I opened this up. But just when I opened that box up and actually saw it in the flesh, I was sort of wowed. A little bit wowed. So yeah, a very beautiful looking spray gun. Good enough that I had to ditch the GoPro because the GoPro's got the fisheye lens on it. It's good for things like big scale, large scale, like scenery and stuff like that, but it's not very good at capturing the fine detail. That's why I did this bit here off my phone. So yeah, you can get a real good look at exactly what this gun does look like. Like I say, absolutely beautiful looking gun. So originally when I got this gun, I was going to get the setup for the LVC 136 clear coat. So the 136 clear coat is a legacy clear coat. It's like most clear coats that you guys would be used to, most 2-pack clear coats. So for instance, the Standox standard clear is relatively similar to it. Like the Standox clear does sort of want to go down a little bit smoother and flatter, but in saying that, you can get this 136 clear down pretty well. So yeah, this first job here, like I said, I did decide to use the 136 clear in it, but later on I actually ended up finding out that I'm able to use this exact setup for the 105 clear coat too. So yeah, the gun, like I said, the gun itself, it's just a normal DV1, you know, and in saying that, it's actually a gun that has grown on me. Like at the very start, so I was in love with the DV1 basecoat gun instantly. Absolutely loved it. Like I stand by my initial reaction to that gun, which was effortless, and they are effortless. The DV1 basecoat gun. But when the clear coat gun came out, I wasn't immediately sold on it. I thought it was a little bit too slow. It didn't pump as much material on as what I was used to and what I liked. And with the DV1 clear gun, originally it only released with the one air cap, so that was the C1 air cap. Then later on they released the C2, and yeah, I did definitely like the C2 straight away. I liked it a lot more. And then I started using different clears, and then I actually did start to enjoy even using the C1. So I do actually quite like the C1 with the 1.2 if you're going for like either a flatter finish or just getting less material on basically. So yeah, the 1.2 will restrict the fluid, and the C1 will restrict the air, and obviously the fluid follows the air. So yeah, C1 1.2 is going to be more restrictive. C2 1.3, which is this setup, will absolutely pump it on. But like I say, you can sort of adjust the way you spray to kind of make them spray the same way, if that makes sense. So if you like crank the pressure up and go in a little bit closer and just sort of get it on a little bit tighter, you can basically make the C2 spray pretty much like the C1. Not 100%, but you can't go the other way around, if that makes sense. Like, you can't make a 1.2. I guess you can in a way, like maybe turn the pressure down and slow down a little bit. Yeah, I guess you can get the same finish, but it's not going to spray the same because you're going to have to slow down a lot more, if that makes sense. But yeah, so like I said before, the clear coat I'm using is the LVC 136, and I've actually been warming it up, and it might sound a little bit of a strange thing to do, but I put it in the microwave. And but the way I see it is, like, if you had a cup of water or a cup of tea that went cold, you know, how would you warm it up? You put it in the microwave. It's just fluid, it's just a liquid. So look, at the end of the day, get yourself a spare microwave. Don't put it in the same microwave that your lunch your lunch goes in. But yeah, the clear coat on this one actually went down a little bit too well. Like after I unmasked it and I had a look at the orange peel compared to the rear door, my quarter panels were too flat. Like it actually looked too good. So yeah, I probably in hindsight could have left it a little bit cooler. So these days I've just been targeting 30 degrees Celsius for my clear coat. So, you know, if you've got like a 1 litre tub, you might only give it, say, 25 seconds in the microwave. I know it still sounds funny just telling people that I do this. So yeah, like I say, I'm not responsible for you doing anything stupid by putting your food, like your food in the microwave after your paint. Like, don't do that, you know. But I will be responsible if you start laying glass clear. You know, you can give me credit for that. But yeah, hey, you guys may want to actually hang around to the end, because we're actually going to be doing a giveaway on the DV1 Gambler, a brand new digital DV1 Gambler. So yeah, hang around to the end and I'll tell you guys how to enter that giveaway, powered by Spray Guns Direct. But there you go, guys. What a beast of a gun, and it's really been growing on me. So recently I used the brand new Segola, right? Now I've been using the old school Segola since it was brand new, right? The Segola 4600 Extreme. They've recently updated it and refined it a little bit, but I've been a little bit let down by it. Like, I was able to get really good finishes with it, but it was when this gun came in only a couple of weeks later. Spray Guns Direct sent this one out just recently, and I use this and I'm like, man, this is in a whole nother level. Like, it really is. Like, I'm sorry, Segola, but you do have a bit of work to do there on that fan. It is just too small. The atomization's a bit more chunky as well, you know, even with the titania. But yeah, you're more than capable of getting good finishes with that Segola, but you know, you go and jump behind one of these again, and the size of that fan and the speed of the fluid delivery is just amazing. Even the SATA CC, that's one of my favorites at the moment still. Like, I don't always use it. I don't use it as often because I need to use the RPS pots on that, and sometimes I just forget and I just put my clear in the PPS and like, oh. But yeah, I'm actually going to be doing a comparison video between the old Segola and the new Segola, and yeah, I've been a little bit let down by it. So I've loved using the old Segola that I've been using for years. It's just been my wet on wet gun. It just gets put through the ringer, you know, day in, day out. Absolute beast of a thing. Indestructible type spray gun. They got the metal on metal technology, as I've harped on about in some other videos, and because of that you can soak them in thinners, and they're just, you know, really well built spray guns, those Segolas. But for clear coat and base coat, the fan is just a little bit too small. So yeah, at this point, it's just not ever really gonna be my number one gun. As much as I do like them, I like, you know, a lot of the things that they do. But one thing that I can say about Segola is I believe that they will take that criticism, they'll take it on board, and they'll probably, you know, at least look into it, and they'll say, hey, are they like, they're not just going to double down and say it's all you. Like, some spray gun manufacturers do that kind of stuff. Like, they'll never admit any fault, if you know what I mean. But either way, yeah, as you may notice in a minute, I'm about to pick out some little bits of stuff. I think that actually fell off the PPS pot, so that's one actual good advantage over, we were just talking about the SATA CC. When you use them, you use the RPS pots, and each pot is a new one, whereas with the PPS, sometimes that outer casing pot, which is reused, you know, you get a new one per box of you know, PPS pots that you buy. But yeah, it doesn't take long for them to get dirty on one hand, and it really doesn't take much. As you can see, this pot here isn't even that dirty, but there could have just been a little bit of overspray accumulated on there and it just dropped on. And look, that may not be where it came from. It could have come off my arm, but I'm just saying, it is actually an advantage of the RPS pots, because you're always going to have a nice clean pot. I do believe, actually, I have seen them. They're not here in Australia yet, but 3M have released, in the States at the very least, a RPS style pot. So I'm looking forward to them coming out in Australia, because it's just easier. All my guns have just got the PPS adapters on them. It just makes it easier if you stick with that brand. But all of that aside, yeah, so the clear coat I'm using here is the 105 clear, right? I think I mentioned that earlier. And I've been through a bit of, you know, trial and error with this clear. Lots of trial, lots of error. But what I ended up finding, so I had like a week off, and you know how it is sometimes, like you come back with a fresh mind, and I can't even remember, because it was a couple of weeks ago now that I figured this out, right? I can't even remember what made me think of doing this, right? But I just thought, geez, I wonder if, like, because I got solvent ball, that's right, I did get solvent ball on one of the jobs. I'm like, oh geez, I wonder if like a lower bake like not baking it so hot would help with, you know, potentially lowering any solvent boil that I'm going to get next time. So I lowered the bake temp and bang, no more solvent boil at all. And so another thing I've mentioned in previous videos is that like I had to use the 1.2 with the C1 to make it so that I got minimal material on there. But then it turns out I actually can use the C2 with the 1.3 on it, leaving a good amount of time in between coats so I can pump 2 nice coats on, right? Which is what I like to do. Like that's my, you know, preferred method of painting because for one, it fills up some nibs and it just gives you a little bit more material. You know, it's going to leave you with a bit of a thicker film build, right? So, you know, obviously it's going to last a little bit longer. It's going to, you know, survive more cut and polishes, I guess, as you take material off. So yeah, like I say, I'm actually able to do that now. So I'm really happy with what I've managed to do with this PPS system. Look, a lot of it has actually had to be getting in there and doing it yourself. Unfortunately, you just got to trial and error it yourself, but I've pretty much nailed this system. So yeah, this Gambler Edition, the prices are pretty, like they're starting to creep up there. For the digital version, you're looking at about 1,150. So unfortunately, I know that, you know, it's not gonna be affordable for lots of people out there. You know, inflation's hitting in, you know, everything's getting so expensive. So yeah, and at the end of the day, it does perform exactly the same as the other DV1s, but if you wanted the non-digital, that's down at about 1,000, say 1,030 Aussie dollars, that is. So yeah, look, it's only going to be one of those things that a tradesman painter's going to be able to justify the money for. You know, it's not going to be the kind of thing that I would imagine any hobby painters, but at the end of the day, you wouldn't be looking at a DV1. I would not imagine most hobby painters anyway, or DIY type people. There's so many other awesome spray guns on the market for much more affordable prices. But yeah, look, all that aside, guys, we're doing a spray gun giveaway with one of these, which is killer. It's probably one of my favorite limited editions from DeVilbiss of all time, and if you hang around for a couple of minutes, I'll be putting it side by side with the other two recent ones from DeVilbiss. Now, I do believe that these wraps are actually quite difficult to do. So I spoke to Chris from Spray Guns Direct only last night actually, and the Gambler came up and I said, man, how good are they? And he's like, yeah, they're good. He said, they're so good. He ordered another batch from DeVilbiss and he said, no, we can't. They're not sending any more out. So whether or not that's because it's a really difficult wrap to get on or not, I don't know. But I do know that these wraps are difficult for the spray gun manufacturers to do. So yeah, look, on the other hand, I do understand, you know, if you just don't see the value in having all these limited editions. I totally get that. So yeah, whatever, you know, please yourself. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't have to buy one, of course. But yes, if you head over to our Instagram page, now generally I did always like to do these kind of giveaways on my YouTube channel just to reward my YouTube viewers, but it got really bad. Spammers. So originally I tried doing it on my website, and my website just doesn't have the hosting behind it. I'd have to upgrade and spend all this money on to get all that traffic on there. So it was crashing my website to do it on my website. And then doing it on YouTube, you just get all these spam comments. I'm talking 6 months down the track, you'll be getting scammers and spammers. So head on over to my Instagram page. What you have to do is screenshot this photo that I put on my Instagram page, post it to your Instagram page, tag me and this Spray Guns Direct in it, and leave a comment on my post, and that will enter you in the draw to win one of these Gambler editions. So there's a link in the description to my Instagram page where you will see my most recent post, so head on over there, do that jazz. So look, I do apologize to those of you who are not on Instagram. I do understand that lots of people just don't like that kind of stuff, but yeah, you can either sign up for Instagram or just skip this one. So yeah, until next time, guys, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favourite is those spray suits, so they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies, and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested.